We may finally have solved our energetic graphite shortage, but before we get too excited, we should probably make sure the resource that supplies its production, coal, is being adequately fed into the apparatus. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So we started to notice right at the end of the previous episode when I could not control myself and I said I was going to look at this later, and then I started looking at it anyway, started to notice that maybe, just maybe, a little bit, we're not bringing in as much coal as we used to. So let's look at some different ways we might be able to solve this. First of all, we probably need to build additional miners and have them with us. So let's do that. I don't know why there it is. The mine never stands out to me from the list. I mean, I guess all the buildings are that way. The icons are quite small, and it's like, wait, where's the one I'm looking for? This is not the icon you're looking for. All right. So we have all of our coal coming through this line being proliferated, which is quite nice. Which is helping proliferate the production of level 1 paint. And it looks like the diamonds are no longer, falling behind here, which is quite good. So I'm just following my proliferator paint all the way down the line for now. It does seem like maybe we still... Oh yeah, that's a problem. That is a big problem, actually, because now we're so light on proliferator paint that we are starting to suffer the consequences of not having enough. So let's address that first and foremost. Then we'll continue taking a look at coal. Alright, there's that. So, coal. I mean, this deposit that I'm looking at here, this is the original, or one of the original coal deposits. I can absolutely do more with it, without question. Question is, how many? I could do one more mine here. It's not going to be the most productive addition to things. Alright, so this is still going to get painted if I add it to the line elsewhere. Best way to do so is probably just to add... Let's see, do I have a splitter on me? I do. Oh, perfect. This should do quite nicely. Let's go ahead and just... Well, first of all, we need to have you come out that far. And then come in like this. And just do a little bit of a juke like that, and we're good. Alright, so that's one part of the solution, but we can do better. We can absolutely do better because there's still an input line here that is accessible. So let's delete that because we don't need it. And I think we can probably do this relatively straightforwardly. If I hold down shift a little bit. Oh yeah, did I see a 9? Give me a 9. There it is. There it is, and it's already running, so it's just a matter of very haphazardly, atrociously connecting it. There we go. And we now have a much stronger feed of coal coming into the base. So it doesn't look nearly as unhealthy as it did, and you can see that... Let's see if this is filling up. But I do think the reason that we were starting to see some coal on the line that wasn't proliferated is I think that the original storage was emptying out. So that's totally fair enough. And I could solve that problem by putting some additional storage like up here and having logistics bots fly all of it back. But that's a little bit too much redundancy for my taste, to be honest. You can see that we have some decent momentum going with our research again. So we are moving towards having more vertical construction, which will apply to the labs and also to our storage. One of the reasons that's particularly exciting is... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Is that gorgeous or what? So we're looking at 349 megawatts now for this Dyson Swarm. Let's take a look at our sales. Okay, so you can tell we're running a little lower on these We're definitely firing them off faster than we're producing them. So that's something we can work on. Still, we're really not making a lot of the organic crystal. We need to get that importing directly from other systems, which we're not very close, but we'll be there before long because it's one of the next major objectives, if not the next major objective. Okay, so it seems like production of these. What's going on with you? Oh, I see what's happening. This is actually maybe easily addressed. Yep. So we're just going to bring you here, and watch this. Yep, right there. So this does mean that it's going to be a little bit awkward for the glass producers here, because they're going to have to wait for a gap in the line, which is going to be a while before that shows up. But it does look like they're still finding it. Hang on, just keep an eye on the arrows here. No, yeah, it's actually building up in these. You can see that, I mean, they're producing, but they're slowly filling up because there's just not a gap in the line. So one way to deal with this is to use literally slower lines. There's another even cheekier way to deal with it. Hang on, watch this. So let's use a level 2 sorter. Or, you know what? We can probably even do a level 3 at that distance. There we go. So now we have a certain amount of glass that's feeding back around, and this line is essentially dripping rather than fully flowing. A little bit of a trick there when you have that situation and you need there to be some space on the line for production to continue working. So now what this will help to guarantee is that both of these have enough glass, which is fantastic. I'm happy about that. Let's also take a look at our energetic graphite situation. How are we doing? Still not building up anything in storage here. What that implies is that we're still... well, I guess the real question is, are we building any up in storage down here? And yes, the answer is yes. That's fantastic. So, what that means, if I'm not mistaken, yes, every resource that is required down here is currently being produced. Can I build another one of these? Hey. There you go. All right, now I can't build another one of those. Seems like we're doing all that we can here with the carbon nanotubes. What else does carbon nanotubes go into, though? Nothing at the moment. We have not yet set up production for Casimir crystals, and we will need those before long. We are producing particle colliders. Casimir crystals... yeah, see, one of the reasons I'm hesitant to set up production for Casimir crystals, are we still... yeah, hydrogen is still an issue. Vertical construction at level 4. Okay, tell you what. Let's do a temporary fix to our hydrogen situation just by increasing the size of these storages outright. It's temporary because as soon as they fill up, the problem will come right on back. I'm going to go ahead and build those 6 storages, and what we'll do, that's filling up really quickly. So what that tells me is that we've mostly solved our situation with the energetic graphite. The fact that that storage is already filling up so fast. Great news. All right, and we need to wait for this to empty out, but you know what? Now that we're waiting for that to empty out, I'm going to go ahead and flip this path again so that this can continue to fill up. Remember, we're still prioritizing sending it down this direction, so it's only the overflow that will go into storage. But we're using this like exactly as a strategic petroleum reserve. That's how it's functioning right now, and it's honestly working quite well. So now let's head over to our labs, because all of these can now go 2 higher. They're getting nice and tall now. They're actually taller than the clouds, which I love. You can see the ships dutifully bringing resources back and forth without my having to... It's like it feels like ages ago now that I was going back and forth. You know, if you're watching in the backlog, it's probably just a few episodes ago for you, but it feels like ages ago for me that I was going back and forth dropping stuff off. Now that we finally have interplanetary transport happening, it's glorious. All right, so I think purple cubes are... I mean, they're definitely building up. I'm not using them at the moment, so when I do start finally researching technologies that require them, we'll have a little bit of a backstock to work with, but we don't have a steady flow of them yet. So now what I'm really going to be curious about is how quickly we can bring those organic crystals, which we're freshly producing. Ooh, hang on. We're about to fill up on storage here, which is going to be a problem unless I fix it now. So I need stone. How am I doing on stone? I don't have that much. I'm just going to pull some off of this line going to the landfill production. There's that. That is what that's called, right? Landfill? Foundation. It's landfill, is essentially what it is. Okay. YouTuber checks on proper terminology after spending entire series talking about using proper terminology. 2 seconds later, YouTuber promptly decides to use his own terminology with no applicable justification. Oh well. Alright, I do want to go ahead and stack these storages a little higher. We've already done what we can there. What'll be interesting is, yeah, power-wise, we are nearing our cap now, which makes a lot of sense given just the sheer quantity of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, that, like I said, collide with other object. So in order to keep this line going, we're going to have to be a little janky and build it there, which means we also need to do a second. We need to have a secondary sorter set up there because it's not going to work to shift-click those in that pattern. It will now, but for that specific shift, it will not. All right, so it does look like the refinery line, one of the reasons the power situation is so much more demanding is that the entire refinery line has woken back up because we have so much space in this storage situation now. Let's take a look at our stone. It does seem like, yeah, stone is emptying out, so I need to keep a close eye on that. That seems like it's relatively easily addressed, though, you know? Because we have so much else going on here. Let's delete that. I can, for instance, add another mine right here. That'll grab 6 of those nodes. I can add another one over here that might grab some additional ones. Let's see. On second thought, I might... Oh, there we go. Now, the only issue there is that it's going to be really tough to get a line out. Yep. Unless I did that. Which feels like a bit like cheating. But it works. Okay. So now what I'll do is just lift... Oh, crap. See what's happening? It's blocked by just the size of this. So we're going to have to bring it here. Oh, this is going to look weird. Gonna look weird, but we're okay. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Can we go a little higher? Yes, we can. Insert lame Creed reference here. Alright, there's that. And now I just need to have a splitter, probably like right here or so. Just kidding. Here. There we go. Oh, actually, let's delete you just to make this a little easier on the other mines. Oh, you're kidding me. You're still not going to work? Oof. Oof. All right, well, You're not going to make it easier on the other mines. You're going to be selfish. And I really thought better of you, but okay. Okay, this will work, though. Now, you do need to be connected to power. So there's that. There's not a lot of stone left here, but now that we're running that much more stone production, that should start to back things up a little bit better. Let's see how much that helps. I don't know. We'll probably need to bring additional stone in before long. But deuterium-wise, it looks like the loop remains very healthy. You can see all of those deuterium buildings flickering, which is the indication that they are running. It's one of the most interesting buildings in the game, that one, I find. Alright, so structure matrices still struggling, but we're starting to see more and more of these organic crystals being produced steadily by our crystal, or by our chemical factories over in this direction. You can see the resource drones hard at work flying stuff around. So we are actually still overstacked on plastic, which is good because I think that was the main resource we were short on. It does look like fuel is struggling a little bit to make it out here now, interestingly enough. So one thing we can do just to ensure that is not a huge problem is we can go ahead and just keep the strategic reserve emptying out. Now that that finally is helpful. The reason, somebody asked about this a few episodes ago, the reason that I didn't just leave it turned on is that there have been moments, and it's already looking a little bit like I might need to keep an eye on it for this same reason. Notice how this line is starting to back up. I don't want these to back up so far that we're no longer producing, from the refinery lines. That was the issue. So I didn't want, I wanted additional oil being pulled, and certainly no additional oil being added in from the storage, because it was causing this line to back up. And it's definitely backing up again. Like, you can see it happening. So as soon as this completely fills up, this is at 8 right now, it can reach 40, I believe. As soon as it hits 40, that refinery will stop functioning completely. It'll just be done. So I'm going to flip that path again and let it empty out, because notice how quickly it's happening here. So that's interesting. We can probably work on other solutions while that problem is ongoing, and the sooner we get those other solutions set up, the sooner we don't have to worry about it very much at all anymore. So it does still seem like, remember that the storage, if you're learning like I have a long time ago, but if you've learned from watching the series to kind of keep an eye on the storages and see, like, well, which ones show an icon and which ones don't, that's a way of kind of telling which lines are emptying out. It still says that we have no energetic graphite in storage. However, remember that that's a secondary storage to this one. This one is kind of showing an icon a little bit, but it also looks like it's filling. Oh, wait, just kidding. There's this storage that is filling up. So I forgot we have 2 buffers built in here. You know what? That's too much. I probably did that at a point where we had more energetic graphite than I knew what to do with, but I'd rather have less of a buffer here now, given the current situation. So let's go ahead and just delete you completely. And we'll just use that splitter to do the good work of sending everything in different directions. So this is filling up very fast, and then the line will start backing up to where the original storage will start filling up again. So that's quite useful. So, what can we build now? We probably do have... Yeah, we have 383 megawatts caught up in our Dyson Swarm at the moment, which is quite nice. Let's also take a look up here and see how these storages are doing, because I would imagine... Ooh, this seems like it's filling up again. So that's a good sign. Right now it looks like the reason it's happening, yeah, I can see why. Because of the angle that I talked about, I believe last episode or the one before, they're not going to be constantly firing. Right now they're... What's your inclination? Oh, yeah. It's way down below. Like, the point that they're trying to fire at right now to add to the ring is way off the mark from where they can shoot. But what that does is it gives my base a break, and it gives everything a chance to build back up a bit. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I need to grab some silicon, but I don't actually think I have silicon importing here, do I? No, I don't. Interestingly enough. So if I'm going to make a bunch of these ray receivers, which I want to make, I need to go ahead and fly to Alpha Andromedae 4, which I haven't been to in a while. So let's go visit our old satellite base. Research is ongoing as we travel. The slowest research production that we're currently dealing with is our structure matrices. And that's because we are needing a better solution on the organic crystal front. Once that problem is in a bit of a better place, we'll have other problems to solve. We're officially at the point where the game is keeping us nice and busy, which, let's face it, it's the way I like it. It's the way we all like it. Decent travel time out to Alpha Andromedae 4. We could take a quick detour and visit 3. Let's do it. I've given this third planet, this third rock from the sun, so much grief. Look at that. It's beautiful. Glad we finally have a Dyson swarm. I've given this planet so much grief about how I never visit it. I should actually do that at some point. Looks like an ice field Jellicol world. Ooh, pretty. So it's an ice planet. Resource-wise, it's very heavy on titanium. So this is absolutely a world that I can set up as a titanium export world. It's fairly heavy on silicon, not as heavy as 4 was. Let's see how 4 is doing on silicon. Still has close to 10 million. But this planet that I'm on right now has almost 10 million more titanium than Alpha Andromedae 4 has. But at the time that we set up shop on Alpha Andromedae 4, remember, we needed the silicon more. But it's really lacking on copper and iron, which means any base I build here will not be able to be self-sufficient, like the bases that I've built on Alpha Andromedae 4. Alpha Andromedae 4 can completely sustain itself. It's not having to, at least at the moment, it's not having to import anything, which is quite awesome. All right, let's find, speaking of 4, where are you? There you are. It's nice and close. These planets are very close together right now. So we're going to hop. How close are they exactly? Yeah, they're about as close as they can get right now. We just happened to fly out here at this exact moment. Look at all those transport ships just busily doing their job. I love this game. And here's this track again. Let's just listen properly this time. Sorry, for those of you newer to my channel, there are some who might call that a Hadrian moment, but if you haven't noticed from this series already, I haven't done it too much in this series, but I definitely do it in a lot of the other games I play. If there's an exceptionally good soundtrack moment, I'm going to shut my mouth and we're going to listen, and that's just the way that it is. I know I talked about it right at the beginning of the series because the opening track that plays, which is not even officially part of the game's soundtrack. It wasn't composed for the game. It's stock music, but it's just that good. It fits that well. Which makes me sad because what it means is they might one day replace it with something composed for the game. I hope they don't, but I remember mentioning it then, but I don't think I've mentioned it at any point since, or I don't think that I've really done too much pausing for the soundtrack, but that is quite normal for me. So I'm just basically telling you to get used to it. And there are several pieces in this soundtrack that we have not heard yet either, which is worth remembering. course, a number of you have picked, as I mentioned a few episodes back, a number of you have picked the game up since we started this series on the channel and have been playing on your own. So you've probably, if you've left your home system, you've probably heard some of the new tracks and have already delighted in them, as I look forward to delighting in them in this series. All right, so we have successfully transitioned back into sail mode without hitting the dirt. I love doing that. Let's actually get all the way to sail mode. There we go. Perfect. How we looking? So it looks like, all right, yeah, storage of the solar panels is completely full. Wow. Really, really healthy. Like, really healthy. Like, remember, we haven't been here in 5 or 6 episodes now. Everything that we did to get this planet up to snuff has worked. We're not even having an issue with the iron ingot production here anymore. I mean, we are. They can't produce fast enough. Well, they're producing too much, so that there are several of these that can't output. But I'd rather have that as my situation and have the capacity to output more if that situation changes. Just built in. I think that's ideal. And power-wise, how are we looking? Yeah, steady. Let's look at the last hour. Steady. And let's look at the last 10 hours. Steady. That's what you want. So it's interesting, though. Look at that. When you bring it up to 10 hours, you can really see the dipping of the solar input at certain moments. That's cool. Okay, so having come out here, I definitely just needed to grab some silicon. Let's do that. And I think one thing I'm even going to do, now that I have the room to do it, let's see. I'm going to set up one of these. Do I have any bots on me? Yes, I do. All right, so we're going to put 10 bots in. We're going to collect, or provide and collect, and I want to go ahead and set up silicon as an ore that I want to store. Let's see, I guess I'll start with it in the... Let's go in order. I'll put it in the 5th slot. Alright, so I want to have at least 1,000 silicon at all times. So now they're going to start bringing it to me. Okay, so I'm going to have, in just a moment, 4 full stacks in my inventory. 600 is all I can carry properly, but that's fine. It does seem like the bots are also still trying to bring me... Oh, no, they're not, because I dismantled. Nice. Yeah, I dismantled what I was using to have them bring me stuff from here, which makes a lot of sense because I no longer need to carry it myself. All right, so now that we've done that, very important step here. Ooh, I will need to go back soon. I mean, I have stuff that I can use for fuel regardless. I'm not SOL, but I need to keep an eye on that. Oh man, yeah, I can only build 2, but I have plenty of silicon, which is what counts. So let's go back. Oh, and they're trying to bring me more. Bring me more. Thank you. And I'm already full again. I love this game. All right, I need to get back to Alpha Andromedae 2 before we have an energy shortage. Okay. Now that I'm underway, we are just about approaching the 30-minute mark, so this is a good stopping point for me to halt this episode more in a timely manner. I've been tending to lose track of time a lot while playing this game, which is a good sign when I'm recording for the series. I've been having a bunch of episodes go over 30 minutes. If you don't know this, I tend to aim for 25, and once I'm at 25, it's like, okay, I'm looking for a moment where I can stop without just cutting myself off abruptly. But when I start going regularly over 30 in any game, that's how you can tell when I'm having too much fun, just as a rule. Or occasionally it means that something, like I was very stubbornly pursuing a particular objective that I really wanted or said maybe that I was going to obtain in an episode and then didn't, and felt like for some reason for me or for the episode or for the channel that I had to do it that episode. But usually I will aim for 25 and then stop. So a little bit of fun channel trivia for you there. If I haven't mentioned that before, I probably have, but if I haven't, there you go. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time, or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges. Oh, that was a good stretch. And other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.